Have you ever wondered about the dark side of Thailand, the land of smiles? There lies a stark contrast between the vibrant beaches, lush landscapes, and the silent, hidden world of illegal sex work. The reality is, Thailand is a major global destination for sex tourism, an industry estimated to be worth billions of dollars every year. Yet, the legality and social acceptance of such work is far more complex. Despite its profitability, sex work is both illegal and stigmatized, leaving those involved vulnerable to exploitation, health risks, and violence. This paradox of paradise, that is both a tourist haven and a hub for illicit activities, creates a fascinating and intricate narrative. Over the next few minutes, we will delve into the history, economics, and human cost of this industry, and explore the ongoing fight for change. So are you ready? Dive into the shadows of this paradise to understand its complex reality. To understand the present, one must first delve into the past. Let's journey back in time and trace the origins of sex work in Thailand. This industry, often shrouded in shadows, has roots that reach deep into the country's history. For centuries, sex work was an integral part of Thai society, accepted and even regulated in some eras. However, the landscape began to change around the 1960s. Aligned with global trends and influenced by Western perspectives, the Thai government started to suppress this age-old profession. The shift was dramatic, and suddenly the industry that was once a common part of Thai society was pushed underground. Sex work, which had been a significant part of the social and economic fabric, was now deemed illegal and stigmatized. The implications were far-reaching, affecting not only the workers but also the overall society. Despite the mounting pressures, the industry proved resilient. It adapted, evolved, and continued to thrive, albeit in the shadows. The 60s also marked an era of rapid economic growth in Thailand. As the country opened its doors to the world, the tourism industry boomed. This presented a paradoxical situation. On one hand, the government was cracking down on sex work, while on the other, the influx of tourists provided a ready market for the industry. This dichotomy further complicated the situation, exacerbating the struggles of the sex workers while fueling the growth of the industry. Fast forward to the present day, and the landscape of sex work in Thailand is a complex tapestry woven with threads of history, society, economics, and politics. It's an industry that, despite its illegal status and the stigma attached to it, contributes billions to Thailand's economy each year. And yet, it's an industry that remains largely misunderstood and misrepresented. The voices of those directly involved are often drowned out in the noise of moral debates and political agendas. As time passed, the industry adapted and survived, shaping the Thailand we know today. Behind the gleaming temples and bustling markets, a billion-dollar industry thrives in the shadows. An industry shrouded in secrecy and stigma, yet it contributes a staggering $6.4 billion annually to Thailand's economy. Yes, we're talking about the illicit sex industry of Thailand, a paradox that is as lucrative as it is controversial. Despite its economic significance, this industry operates on the fringes of legality, a clandestine world concealed behind the vibrant facades of Thailand's tourism. Sex work, though a significant segment of the nation's economy, remains illegal. This illegality doesn't deter the industry. Instead, it only pushes it deeper into obscurity, making it harder to monitor, regulate, or provide any form of worker protection. The sex industry in Thailand is not a recent phenomenon. Its roots stretch back centuries, evolving and adapting with the times. But in the last few decades, the industry has been increasingly suppressed. Since the 1960s, a series of laws and reforms have sought to curtail its growth, pushing it further into the shadows. The impact of this criminalization is profound. It leaves those involved in sex work vulnerable to a myriad of issues, from health risks to exploitation and violence. Thai sex workers often find themselves caught in a difficult situation, forced to navigate the treacherous waters of an industry that is both their livelihood and their greatest risk. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic has only exacerbated these challenges. Many sex workers have lost their jobs and face financial hardship, while others face threats to their health and safety. Yet despite these hurdles, the industry continues to persevere, a testament to its resilience and its essential role in Thailand's economy. The problem is not the existence of the sex industry, but rather the conditions under which it operates. The criminalization of sex work has only served to increase corruption and exploitation, rather than curbing the industry itself. Many argue that decriminalization could pave the way for better worker protections and reduced corruption. In the shadows of legality, a thriving industry remains unseen and unregulated. An industry that is a lifeline for many, yet remains an enigma, caught between legality and illegality, acceptance and stigma, visibility and obscurity. This is the billion-dollar shadow of Thailand. In a world where money talks, what happens to those who can't pay the price? In Thailand's thriving sex industry, the human cost is often overlooked. We must consider the people at the heart of this billion-dollar shadow economy. They are not just numbers, but individuals with stories, dreams, and lives that matter. The criminalization of sex work in Thailand has left these workers vulnerable on many fronts. Despite being part of an industry that's estimated to be worth billions, they are often left at the mercy of exploitation and violence. The law, instead of protecting them, serves as a tool for their marginalization. Health risks are a major concern. Lack of legal protection means that many sex workers don't have access to adequate healthcare services. This, combined with the nature of their work, exposes them to a multitude of health hazards. The COVID-19 pandemic has only compounded these challenges, with many sex workers losing their jobs and facing extreme financial hardship. Exploitation is another grim reality of this industry. Sex workers are often subjected to unfair and unsafe working conditions with no recourse. They live under the constant threat of violence, both from clients and law enforcement. Stories of police extorting and ignoring sex workers are all too common. Allegations of official involvement in the industry raise even more questions about the corruption that permeates this sector. But the human cost goes beyond physical harm and monetary exploitation. The social stigma associated with sex work in Thailand can be just as damaging. It can lead to social ostracization, making it difficult for these individuals to find support or seek help when they need it most. Behind the glittering facade of Thailand's sex tourism industry lies a dark underbelly. It's an industry that thrives on the vulnerabilities of those who have few other options. And it's an industry that continues to operate largely unchecked, despite the profound human suffering it causes. The price of this billion-dollar industry is paid in human suffering. In a world eager for change, who dares to challenge the status quo? In the heart of Thailand, a progressive lawmaker has taken a bold step, introducing a bill that seeks to legalize sex work. This bill, a beacon of hope for many, is seen as a potential solution to the myriad of issues plaguing the sex work industry. Supporters argue that the criminalization of sex work has left workers vulnerable to a host of risks: health complications, exploitation, and violence, to name a few. By legalizing the industry, they believe that the rights and safety of sex workers can be better protected, reducing corruption and potentially improving the lives of those involved. However, this path towards change is not without its detractors. Conservative factions and anti-trafficking organizations strongly oppose the bill. They fear that legalization could inadvertently lead to an increase in abuse and trafficking, further exacerbating the very issues it seeks to address. Their concerns are not unfounded, and they beg the question: can legalization truly bring about the change needed, or will it merely mask the issues beneath a veneer of legality? The COVID-19 pandemic has added another layer of complexity to this debate. With many sex workers losing their jobs and facing financial hardship, the industry's problems have been thrown into stark relief. The virus has not only threatened their livelihoods but also their health and safety, making the fight for change even more urgent. Yet amidst these challenges, the spirit of resilience remains. Despite the uncertainty and the controversy surrounding the bill, there is an unwavering determination to address the issues at hand and to improve the lives of the people involved in the industry. In the face of adversity, the fight for change continues. As we step out from the shadows, what have we learned? We've peeled back the layers of Thailand's glittering facade, revealing a history steeped in centuries-old traditions of sex work, now shrouded in stigma and illegality. An industry valued at a staggering $6.4 billion annually lurks in the underbelly of this popular tourist destination, flourishing despite suppression efforts since the 1960s. The human toll is heavy, with sex workers facing exploitation, health risks, and violence, often overlooked by the very authorities meant to protect them. The pandemic has only deepened these hardships, leaving many out of work and vulnerable. Yet amidst the darkness, a glimmer of hope persists. Progressive lawmakers strive to change the narrative, pushing for legislation that could enhance the safety and rights of these workers, reduce corruption, and counter the pervasive abuse and trafficking. As we leave the land of smiles, we carry with us a deeper understanding of its complex reality.